Alright folks, doing an installation. I don't know if either of you can really see it. This camera is reversed, unfortunately, from above, and then I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max up close. We'll try to get better detailed views from that, but just know that I hopefully will put a link to both views in both videos so that you guys can go back and see what's going on. It's early in the morning here. I just had a wisdom tooth removed and I woke up early. So you know what? Might as well make some videos. And I'm hungry. So I'm going to have a protein shake. So what do we have here? We've got the Asus Prime H810m Wi-Fi CSM. We're going to install Intel Core Ultra 5225F LGA 1851. I'm going to use the CPU cooler that came with it. You know, I haven't used one of these in a while. I probably, who knows, might screw it up. We're going to put 2 sticks of RAM in, and then we're actually going to put a drive in as well. Can't remember what this is. I think it's Aorus 16 gig sticks, so 2 of those. You know, I honestly not a big fan of putting drives in before I get the computer to boot to BIOS, but for the sake of this video we'll do that. Then folks, we're going to simulate connecting a power supply, so we'll connect to our 24 pin, we'll put 2 4 pins for the CPU. I will then do the front panel case connectors. That'll be completely simulated. As you can see, this is the front off of a PC and all of its connectors. Alright, and then we'll also, this has Type-C. We'll simulate the connection for a Type-C connector on there as well. And that's going to do it, folks. That's quite a bit. You guys, you lucked out when you came and saw this video. I'll tell you what. All right. So first thing we're going to do is put our CPU in. All right. Now, hopefully our hands are nice and clean. All right. I usually try to wash mine pretty good before this. We don't want to get a lot of grease and oils and other crap on our CPU. Notice over here when you look at this, so assuming this is a brand new motherboard, and it's a virgin CPU socket here, this cover should still be on. You should see a triangle right here, all right? Now whether in the camera view you can see it is another story, but if you open up this cheap H810m motherboard, you should see it right there. Now, sometimes you'll see it imprinted on the motherboard itself. I do not here. Let me do one more thing. You guys keep your cover on, but for the sake of this video, there is also a triangle right there, all right, on the frame that goes around here, and I'm going to snap that back in. When we actually put our CPU in, folks, this thing's going to pop off, okay? You want to keep this there to protect the pins, all right? They are very delicate. Matter of fact, I've bought motherboards that are damaged just to do videos, but on the close-up one here, look at that. So you do something like that, good luck fixing it. Sometimes I'm able to fix these, hence why I bought this. This is a Z790, not not 8th gen one, or excuse me, not a 800 series motherboard. But yeah, those pins are delicate, so make sure you listen to me when I install this and you put it in properly. Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. Now, for some of you, this is going to be like, God, this guy's taking forever, right? But hear me on this. You want to be super safe, super slow. Take your freaking time, all right? This is not a race. Like, I know you guys want to go game away, but the reality is you need to just be careful, all right? Slow, methodical, double check every freaking thing. All right, so looking at our CPU, of course you're reading this backwards, but little triangle there, right there. So they actually put the triangle, folks, a little more identifiable right there, okay? So that gives you your location to line this up with. Now the little plastic gizmo here, put that back in your case, okay? You don't want to lose that for later when you sell the CPU. Now I like to use two hands when I'm bringing the CPU in. You do not want to drop this, all right? And I'm trying to do this so hopefully, at least in one view, my hand is not in the freaking way. All right, now is that in? Good question. I'm going to lightly run my hand around this. The green part of the CPU should basically be at the same height as this gray frame around it. Actually, the CPU sits ever so slightly higher if you run your fingers over that. So as long as all the way around it feels that way, then you've got it squared up. Now, I don't totally recommend this, but you know, if you try and move this thing around, it should pretty much come to a stop, right? It shouldn't allow you to go side to side, up and down. All right, now we're gonna bring this down, grab the lever. Let's try and do this so you guys can actually see what the hell I'm doing. And then boom, you see how that popped off? Bam, all right? Our CPU's in there. Now, this, folks, very important. Put this back in the box, okay? I'm going to even drag this video out longer by, I don't even know where, oh, you know what, the box is underneath it. I'm going to drag this out longer because I want you guys specifically to put this back in the box. You'll thank me for that later, all right? Oh, you know what? This motherboard also has Wi-Fi, so we'll put that on there. All right. Now I'm going to put the box aside. That was the whole point of me having the box there. And you know, some of you might laugh about, hey, the stuff I'm saying, but you got to take this stuff serious, all right? $139 motherboard, you could wreck it just like that. I mean, I kid you not how easy it is. Okay, so I will eventually do another video with a quality CPU cooler. Not, you know, not this one, but we'll do a different one. So this guy, folks, is going to fit in these existing holes on the motherboard. If you can see, there's four holes, okay? And this little cable here, it does have thermal paste on it. I'm going to sneeze. Here you go. Whew, excuse me. Oh, that really hurts when you've had a wisdom tooth removed. Sometimes, you know, you can get this thing to wrap around just right. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in up here, folks, first. So hopefully you can see this. Boom, this is the CPU fan location up here. All right. And then I kind of try to do this deal so that I pick up the slack of that. All right. So there we go. There's our slack. Now, for best results on this, folks, you do not want a hard surface underneath this, okay? And I've got a little mat here, but it's still a bit hard. And so what we're going to do is actually lift this up a little bit. And I'm going to pop these in. And pop that one in. Now really I should have went diagonally. Screwed that up. All right, so hopefully we heard 3 good snaps. Let's just make sure. Yeah, if you do this on a hard surface, you will screw up the plastic tips on the end. All right. Now we're gonna flip it over. This is what you should see. Okay. Those puppies should be popping through. Now I'm gonna come over this camera real quick. You see basically three pieces of plastic. All right. You see, hopefully, if we can find it, the angle. You see three pieces of plastic on all four. That is a super solid installation, folks. That's how you want to do it. Now, did I screw up with my RAM? That may be a problem. But we'll see. It all depends on, folks, how you want this cable. If you want it over here, don't install it like I did. Have it, over here, and then put a cable tie on it. Yeah, I might have botched that. But all right, RAM. Let's go ahead and put our RAM in. Now the RAM can go in only one way, and on this motherboard, these tabs, I'm going to call them tabs, release mechanisms. Let's rotate this motherboard. I think that provides a better view. This can go in only one way, and I honestly always get freaking confused. It used to be so much easier to tell which side is shorter and which side is longer on these. I'd say it's this way. Now, when you are first doing installation, and you can look at this from the side and see when you put it in that slot that it's going to line up or not. When you're first doing installation, to be honest with you, put one stick of RAM in. If you don't know for a fact your RAM works, is a better idea for troubleshooting. Okay, so you only need one stick of RAM in this to get it to boot, right? And we don't need the second one. I'm only putting it in there because, number one, I know that it works. Number two, we are, kind of, I'm not going to say I'm impatient, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it done now. But you at home, do the one stick first, and if you potentially have problems, make sure you put the RAM in correctly. I just almost put it in backwards. Now what happens when you try and put this in backwards? It's going to want to feel like it's teetering, right? If you press down too hard, you could damage your RAM slot. Lots of motherboards on eBay for sale that have everything else is perfect on a motherboard except one or two of the RAM slots is bad. So multiple reasons for why that happens. Some of them could be bad installations. Alright, so we got that. Now, I made a mistake and put my box away. We're going to need that for our M.2, okay? This is a 2280 size one. So going back to our box, and you really shouldn't I'm doing this for the camera view, folks, but don't sit there and hold stuff over top of your motherboard. It's not the smartest thing in the world. As easy it is to drop something, drop a part on it, next thing you know your motherboard is shot. Alright, so there are two locations for M.2s in here. I'm going to go ahead and put both of these screws in and the extension pieces because I'm probably honestly never going to put two drives in this motherboard. This one honestly will be lucky if I use it for, I hate to say it, probably a very short period of time. Alright, so these are these both Gen 4? That's our first question. This is PCIe 1.0, it's Gen 4. This guy says 4.0 and this says 4.0. So we can put that in either one. Thing is, this drive itself is 3.0. It's not going to matter. It'll work in a 4.0. But we want to find the 2280 hole here, threaded hole for that, and then we're going to do the other one. Now, what on a, be honest with you, on a nice motherboard, these things are already put in here, right? Like they are trying to save every last cent for whatever reason. So I'm going to take one of these screws, hopefully I can hold on to it, and put it in this one, because I'm not going to use this guy if I can do this with my fingers. Maybe I'm not going to be able to. Yeah, that's the problem. And then, did yours truly bring a good magnetic screwdriver? Probably not. Here we go. This is an electronics screwdriver. So this is where you go, God, this guy sucks, right? But having big hands, big biceps doesn't always help you with computers. It'll help you with a lot of other stuff, carrying groceries, picking the wife up, a lot of that other crap they come in handy for, but computer building, sometimes not so good. Alright, if anybody's actually still watching this video, hopefully you got a chuckle out of that. So folks, this SSD M.2, so this should take M.2 NVMe or SATA up to Gen 4, okay? Quite honestly, I've bought only like a couple of, so that comes in an angle like so, but I was going to say I've only bought a couple of Gen 4s. I have probably 30 SSDs, and I quite honestly haven't felt the need to spend extra money on them. These things are fast enough. Alright, that is the real part of the installation. Now we're going to go to simulating everything, okay? Let me get squared away here, get this box out of the way. We're going to put, now like I said, make sure you put this stuff all away. Put that back in your Intel Core 5 Ultra box. Alright, simulated power connectors. Alright, so 24, this is your 24 pin power connector, and I'm going to move this so I think it's a little more in that view. Okay, over here, actually let's try and do this. You should never really pick up your motherboard by the CPU cooler, so don't always do what I do. Okay, so this can go in only one way, folks. Comes in, and before I snap that in, that's what it's going to look like. All right, then I'm going to put 2 hands of force on here. Boom. Okay, or 2 fingers, 4 fingers, whatever I used. Over here is where, and we'll actually, I think, move this so you can see this. CPU connector. All right, you'll have, your power supply should have at least 2 of these 1x4s. You may have a really good power supply and it has 2 sets of these, so you'd have a total of 4 times 1x4, but in this case you're only going to use the one. Now all these cables, when they're in your case, folks, are going to run under the motherboard, okay? If you do a crap job and just slop it together, then you would see something like this in your case, right? This isn't what you want. But for the fact of making the connection, that's what I'm trying to show you here, okay? Now, let us rotate this around. So I don't have a hard drive to show, or do I? Actually, I do have a hard drive. Let me grab a hard drive, folks. A solid state drive, actually. Okay, come back. So 3.5 inch mechanical hard drive, 2.5 inch mechanical hard drive, or 2.5 inch solid state drive, okay? So what you would do is, this is a SATA cable. It's in your, it's in the motherboard box. You are going to install this into the motherboard, all right? Boom. And then in the actual drive itself, boom. Then what we need is something called SATA power. It comes from our power supply. Looks like this, okay? And don't be surprised if this feels like a pain in the butt to install next to it, but boom, I actually got that in the first try. So that's attaching one of those drives, all right, in case you need that. Now let's install our PC case connectors. And this is going to get really cluttered looking. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm just trying to give you guys everything that you hopefully will need when you actually install this in your case. Alright, so this has a Type C header on it. Your case, if it has it, you know, well, first the front will have the Type C opening on it, right? And then it will have this connector. So this can go in this hole only one way, or in this header. Here it is right here. It has a U5G_C2 in front of it, and we'll just put that in there like so. Come in 90 degrees to the motherboard, and boom, snap, it's in, okay? Right next to it, folks, and maybe I should have did the other one first, but I didn't, is a USB 3.0, okay? So you're going to come in. This has a little protrusion on it. This has a slot in it, okay? I'm going to try and rotate this a little bit more so it's even better to look at. And I'm going to hopefully not get my fingers in the way, but protrusion, slot, okay? That is the only way to put this in. Don't try 180 degrees to this. Boom. So that's in. Now, case fans. Your computer might have case fans, all right? They come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. I'm just gonna use this one for a moment, and then I'm gonna unplug it. So 4-pin connector, that's what that looks like. And right next to this over here, folks, was a case fan. This can go in only one way. And so you're gonna come in, and my hand's in the way. What a surprise. This is a problem with making these videos. And this one's really hard to do with everything installed already. I should have picked the easier one. I guess I still could. We can back out. Alright, so coming in 90 degrees, boom. That's how that looks, okay? I'm going to pull this out because it's just going to get in the way. Alright, so that's a case fan. You've got a few places you can connect to those. You may, honestly, since this doesn't have a lot of case fan connectors, you may need a splitter like this to run all of your case fans. Alright, where do you get that? Amazon, folks. Alright, Now, over on this side of the motherboard, we have one single location for USB 2.0. That's pretty sad. That's why these cheap motherboards are kind of disappointing, but sometimes you don't need more than one. Here are two cables, and hard to see probably in the video, but this one's labeled USB, this one's labeled HD audio. We're going to start with USB 2.0. Notice there are 9 openings, and this one is blocked off. When you look at this, there are 9 pins, and one is missing, right? So that's how we want to line this up. We want to come in 90 degrees and straight down. Boom. Okay. Over here is HD audio. Notice the top row, second pin from the right is missing, which corresponds with this connector. Looking at it in this orientation, the bottom one, second one from the right is missing. And so we are going to plug it in. Now when you look at it installed, in this case the HD audio, the word HD audio is facing away from you. Okay. Same with the USB 2.0. Now, probably the absolute most important connector on this motherboard is the power switch, and I need to find that. One thing you won't be able to connect on this, I think, folks, is PC speaker, just so you know. My other videos, you may notice me connecting that. This one does not have it. Okay, power switch, right? It should say power, power, SW, SW for switch. Here is your front panel case connectors. I would love to get this really close in, but then I will block camera view 2, and I think this other camera is going to be in the way. But at least switch to camera view 1 for this. All right, front panel connectors. I'm going to call this the front row and the back row. Okay, back row, 3rd and 4th pins, and you see how I have this oriented. I want to come in 90 degrees, straight down, and boom. Okay, that's your power switch. That is going to, when this thing is completely done, that's what's going to actually turn your computer on. Okay, it is super important. Super important. All right, in front of it is what is called the reset switch. Assuming your PC has a reset switch, and the panel connector should say reset SW, okay? Front row, 3rd and 4th pins. Boom. Easy day, right? Now, power LED is next. That is, this is going to be on the back row, 1st and 2nd pins. Notice the plus minus on there, okay? The left pin is positive, the right is negative. Let's get these out of the way for this all-important step. I'm going to rotate this a little bit, and this one's always harder to do because it's 2 separate guys, but when I'm wearing my glasses and I'm outside a case, bam, just like that. In front of that, HDD LED, okay? This guy drops in here, 1st row, 1st and 2nd pin, done. What else, folks? The antennas, these are easy enough to install, but hey, why not show that in the video? I don't think anybody's watching this video at this point, but if you are, hey, thank you. I'm going to move the cameras around because guess what? We have too much shit in the way. And at this point it's hard to rotate the motherboard. Alright, these guys, these are your 2 antennas, and we're just going to screw these in. These look to be pretty good antennas, folks, I will say. Whether they are or not is another story. But they look solid. They look like quality antennas. There are other antennas you can buy that have magnetic base that will allow you to put the antenna on the very top of your case. May be able to locate it in a better location that you get a stronger signal. So there's that. Other things in here. Let's say you have a microphone and it's got this kind of connector. It doesn't have the USB. Headphone, microphone, okay. Once again, simulating this because it's obviously not hooked up to anything. We'll plug the mic in first. It goes in the bottom. You should hear it click and go all the way in, and then the headphone or line out in there, okay. Line in above that. I don't have a blue one to simulate that, folks. Other than that, this graphics card, excuse me, this CPU does not have integrated graphics, so we cannot plug in HDMI cable directly into the motherboard or DisplayPort, just so you know. You will need a graphics card, okay? So, final step for this video, I think I better go buy grab a graphics card. I'll be back. Sorry about the delay again. Alright, now, for this case, obviously you've got this installed in your case. This graphics card going in is one of the last things. Some of them have need extra power. This one gets all its power from the PCIe slot. So I'm going to pick this up. Once again, don't do this by the cooler like I'm doing. But I need this to hang over the side so that I can put the graphics card in. And here is our graphics card. Let me adjust our cameras and put this one over on this location. And so this, folks, we've only got one place we can put a graphics card in, so be careful putting these in. It comes in. See the way this looks on the bottom? See the way this is? That's what you're matching up to, okay? So we're bringing it in, coming in 90 degrees, and we should hear a click. There's a lever over here that you have to release to get that card out. Now, folks, the graphics card, in this case, we're going to connect an HDMI to it. Once again, you would have this in your case and not out like this. Not to say you can't do this, but now the HDMI cable can be inserted in the graphics card. The other end goes to the monitor, TV, whatever. Alright? Thanks for checking out my video. I'm actually rather pleased with how this came out. We did one take. There's not going to be any edits. There'll be some places where I wish I could, compress the time, but hey, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Leave a comment. I always love to hear that it helped you, you newbies, or even people that haven't built a computer in a while. But like I said, thanks for allowing me to show you how to set up this Asus Prime H810m Wi-Fi CSM motherboard. Thank you.